Welcome to Passion for the Pastime, where baseball lives 24/7, 365. Catch conversations with beat writers, broadcasters, current and former players of all levels. Now here's your host,
Walter Ika Balsetta. Whoops, I fumbled. I got to get out of here.
Walter Ika Balsetta.
Yo, what's up, everybody, and welcome to this December 12th edition of Passion for the Pastime. We got a lot to get into. Willy Adames makes his first impressions in San Francisco as he had his opening press conference, introductory press conference at Third and King at China Basin, whatever you want to call it, Oracle Park. And it was great. So we'll get into that. We got some videos. I'm going to try to implement some video content here on the YouTube today. But everybody, welcome to Passion for the Past. I'm doing this a little bit earlier than I normally do. We're usually on Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. This is show number 4. This is the third live show. But doing it a little bit earlier today because we all know what's going on later tonight. We got the 49ers and the Rams. Huge matchup. We'll get into that a little bit too towards the back end as we get closer to kickoff. We'll take this all the way up to about 5 o'clock. We'll go about an hour today. But yeah, rocking new era. Hell yeah, dude. Thank you for stopping by. I see you in there. Appreciate you stopping by as always. I'm pretty sure we got Mike Val in the chat as well at some point. He was hitting me up with some breaking news from Buster Only, so we'll definitely get into that as it pertains to Corbin Burns. But yeah, huge football game later tonight with the 49ers and the Rams. They pretty much have to win out to get into the postseason. Not pretty much. I mean, they have to win tonight 100% because if they don't, then they'll have a weaker divisional record at that point, and you're not going to make the playoffs. So a huge one. That's why we are getting into this early so that we can all watch that game in peace. I'm not going up against the giants of NFL of Thursday night football. And yeah, rocking. Text the guys 100%. But yeah, man, hope everybody is enjoying their Thursday. It is a little chilly. Was a little wet this afternoon. I was on my scooter and it was a fun ride. It was a fun time, especially in the afternoon because there was a lot more rain coming down on my way back than there was this morning. But welcome to Passion for the Pastime. Again, if this is your first time, my name is Walter Icaro, and I work currently at KMBR as a producer for the midday show for Greg Papa and Greg Silver, who were down at Levi's today getting ready for that Thursday night game against the between the 49ers and the Rams. But yeah, I've worked at KMBR since 2019 and sports baseball has always been a passion of mine. Started this podcast in particular to to kind of like get into the radio, the broadcast, the podcast scene back in, I believe I started it in 2018, and now we finally bring it to YouTube. So again, starting up this YouTube channel, Passion for the Pastime. Tell your friends, share the link, let everybody know where the fun is. And remember to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and set your notifications because, as today is a perfect example, we're going a little bit earlier today. We're going a little bit off script. That's just because of the circumstances. And we'll do that occasionally. I'll try to keep it to that 6 o'clock time because I know a lot of people enjoy that time. So we'll definitely try to keep it on that schedule, but on the off schedule times, you want to have those notifications because you don't want to miss any of the fun. So Mike, Val, I see you in there. Give yourself some, what'd you say? Give yourself some credit. Long fellow. Your time is now. All right. Appreciate it, Mike. Appreciate it, Mike. Mike, I got to have you on the show at some point, man. We'll get into it. I am looking at getting the phone line hooked up here to have you guys call in, get a special line for the podcast so we can do that and have conversations. But also, Mike, you sent me your email. We'll definitely set you up for you to get on to the podcast live with me so we can talk some ball as well. But Today was a huge day. We had a lot of introductory press conferences around around the world of sports. Actually, it was crazy because during the same time that Willy Adames, because we were carrying it live on KMBR, and we'll have some visual and some audio from that press conference. Went down today at 11:30 at Oracle Park. We played it live on KMBR airwaves and on the YouTube stream. But at the same time, while we're playing Willy Adames, I look up at the TV and I just see Bill Belichick being introduced at UNC, man. What a weird time. But that wasn't even like the weirdest thing. Oh, I take that back. That was really weird to see him in that in that just in that situation, getting introduced as the head coach for UNC. That was weird. I was going to say it wasn't as weird as Juan Soto getting introduced. I have some video there, but equally weird. I mean, it didn't feel right. Like when I was watching Juan Soto put on the uniform for the Mets. I don't know if it's just because he was wearing pinstripes in New York, and then I mean, how often does that really happen? I know. What was it? Stroman did it, right? Didn't he switch over from the Yankees? Yeah, to the Yankees. Oh man, I'm drawing a blank right now, but it's not really too often that you have Yankees flip over to the Mets, and it's not too often that you have the Yankees miss out on big name free agents when it comes to dollars, right? I mean, you never see anybody outbid the Yankees. So the fact that went down it's just kind of weird. So we'll definitely get into that 100%. And yeah, man, I mean, we had a big trade go down. I didn't do a breaking news yesterday just because I was busy most of the day. But we had Garrett Crochet get finally traded. So that's other stuff that went on around the Major League Baseball. Garrett Crochet gets traded to the Red Sox for a haul of prospects. Most notably, it was Kyle Heel, the catcher. He's projected to be a Major League catcher for sure. So that's the big news there. And then how that kind of trickles down, we'll get into it with the Red Sox. Does that kind of take them out of the running for Corbin Burnes? That's the huge debate, the huge conversation, because there's also rumors. Again, winter meetings are over, but the hot stove is starting to crank up a little bit with all these rumors. You're still hearing that the Red Sox are in on pitching. I don't know if that necessarily means that they're going in on Corbin Burnes, but the latest rumors that I've seen is from, I believe it was Jeff Passan, or it might have been Ken Rosenthal, might have been John Haven. I'm not sure who it came from exactly, but the latest rumors is that, that the Red Sox are looking at getting Luis Castillo from the Mariners. So really interesting stuff. We'll definitely get into it. But where we start off here, it is time for Willy Adames. Willy Adames comes into San Francisco with a 7-year, $182 million deal. And let me just say, a lot of people didn't really know too much about Willy Adames, myself included. I knew that he had a power bat. I knew that he had plus defense. I knew all these things, but I just didn't know what kind of like person he was, right? And that's what you really look at with these press conferences, is that you kind of get a peek into what type of personality these guys have. And when you go and look back at the future, or back at the past of San Francisco Giants baseball, there was always strong, likable, lovable personalities on these teams. And up until recently, the Giants, I felt like they didn't have a soul. Like they didn't have a heartbeat. They didn't have likability, right? I mean, going back to Lori Galvin, she dropped in on Tuesday when I was talking to Danny Dunn. And I don't know if it was a question to just everyone in general, if it was a question to Danny, but the question was, who is your favorite Giant, right? And I didn't really think about it at that moment, but yeah, obviously you're going to like Logan Webb and you're going to like Matt Chapman, and you start listing off guys. It's guys that haven't been here for that long. Obviously Logan Webb has been here, but he's a fan favorite because of longevity, right? I mean, that's kind of why when you look back at the World Series championship years, I always gravitated towards my guy, Matt Cain, because he was the longest tenured Giant on those World Series teams. You always kind of appreciate the guys that were there that grinded through the tough times, because everyone else coming in there and they start winning baseball games. You kind of build a little bit of character when you're not a good team, and you start to gravitate towards those guys. So obviously Logan Webb is a guy for me. But going back to that question, who is your favorite Giant? And I know it's recency bias, and I know it's because it's a brand new toy, and you always prefer your new toys, new shiny toy that you can play with. Willy Adames might be up there for me, man. I know I haven't seen him, and again, it's recency bias. Everyone's really excited, myself included. I'm excited to see what this guy can do in orange and black, what he can do at Oracle Park, and just a member of the San Francisco Giants, because everyone that was talking about Willy Adames, his former coaches, right? Pat Murphy, Craig Counsell, teammates, they all had high praise for this guy and the type of teammate that he is. That is huge. And that is why, I mean, you go back and look at the presser and what Buster has said in interviews since the signing of Willy Adames. He pretty much said that he embodies what it means to be a San Francisco Giant. They essentially, in my interpretation of it, they have a second Matt Chapman in the room. I mean, Matt Chapman might conduct himself differently and lead by a different example, but he's a leader. He's a leader of a clubhouse, and from what his coaches have said is that he brings people together. So it's like you start hearing all of that, and it sounds great, and people are talking him up. Obviously, he just got paid, and he looks really happy. And why wouldn't you be happy? You just got generational wealth, 7 years, $182 million in your bank account. Why wouldn't you be happy? But it's kind of looking at the interactions in this press conference, and I'll open up this this video that I have from the opening statements with Buster Posey and Willy Adames in just a second. But just hearing him talk, seeing him interact, seeing that smile, it just reminds me of what it kind of felt like in the past with likable personalities that you can kind of gravitate to. And he hasn't even stepped on the field yet. I think that once he gets onto the field and you start seeing his game up close and personal, he's going to be a fan favorite. No question about it. I mean, kind of how Matt Chapman came into San Francisco and immediately became a favorite of people. Elliot Ramos became a favorite. So it's like when you start seeing the building blocks of this San Francisco Giants team, you start to get a little bit more excited. You start to get more excited to see what this can be and what their vision is for creating that. Because when you look at all these other free agents that have come in to the San Francisco Giants recently, you just didn't feel the soul there. It felt transactional. It wasn't that you wanted to be here. And again, he's happy because he has all that money. But I think also you look at the person behind all of that, and I think that the joy, the excitement from what I've seen in the presser, and it's just a first impression, but I feel that he is genuinely happy to be in San Francisco, regardless of the paycheck. The paycheck makes it easier. I'll say that. The paycheck definitely makes it easier. But what are your thoughts? What were your first impressions? Everybody in the chat, I just want to know what your first impressions were on Willy Adames. And for me, first impressions are everything. So just to see him smile, to see him be actually thrilled to be in San Francisco and talk about it. And this goes back to he referenced Matt Duffy. Everybody loved Matt Duffy, right? So that's a good anecdote. But he got a little bit of his love of the city from Matt Duffy, right? So it's like he's done his research. He's not just coming here just to be with that contract and have that money in his bank account. That it kind of feels, obviously, that's a big part of it. That's a big part of it. You'd be naive to think that, oh no, he wants to be a Giant. You'd be naive to think that money didn't have a say in the matter, but I don't think that ruled everything. You know what I mean? There's a lot of times that people say money rule everything, money rule. I understand that to a degree, but Willy Adames, just his personality, I think that Giants fans are going to come to love this guy in the field, at the plate, just be a big clubhouse guy, something that they haven't had. And I think that we've been searching for since the personalities of Brandon Belt, since Hunter Pence, since Pablo Sandoval, all the quirky guys in the bullpen, right? I mean, there was a heartbeat, there was a soul to San Francisco Giants baseball that I think got away and got kind of pulled out because of the analytics, because there isn't a heart to analytics. It's just a computer. So I love that the Giants are kind of getting back to that. I'd love to have your thoughts on the direction of this team and what you thought, what your first impressions were of Willy Adames in his opening presser. And let's go over to the chat. Let's say who's in here. Rockin' New Era. What's up, bro? I know you're always in here. Mike Val, what's good, bro? Ebe. Is it Eb? Is it Eb here? I always thought it was Eb. Eb here. I don't know how to hell. I don't know how to read. Reading isn't my strong suit. You guys will soon find out. What did Ebe say? I went in the KMBR chat and told him Walter is on now in case you want to listen to some passion about ball. Hell yeah, dude. Appreciate that. I know my bosses will love that I'm taking away from their stream. I don't give a damn. All right, Mike Val. What's up? Mike Val. Can't remember the source, but read last night Boston was out on Burns. See, and that's the thing, Mike, is that I've read those sources too, but then I'm still seeing that, oh, well, Boston, they could still potentially get back in the conversation with Burns if the price tag is right. You would believe that they were out because of the high price tag that they paid to get Garrett Crochet, right? 4 prospects. I believe all of them were within the top 15 in their organization. Kyle Teal, he's going to be a great catcher in Major League Baseball. And Montgomery, he got drafted, I believe last year, broke his leg in the not World Baseball Classic, but College World Series. So yeah, I mean, those are the most notable names. Can't remember the other 2 guys, but they were top 15 prospects, I believe. I think one was 11, the other one was 14. I want to say Montgomery was like 4 or 6, and Teal was 2. So or maybe Teal was 4, and Montgomery was maybe like 9 or something like that. I can't remember exactly what their positionings were in the Boston Red Sox organization. But you would think that after that huge price tag, that Garrett Crochet, he's there, but there's also looking at Luis Castillo. So then you start seeing kind of how they're acting, and you would think that they're out on Corbin Burns, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, man. I've seen that it's mainly between the Giants, and it's mainly between the Giants and the Blue Jays, right? But there's not, he prefers to be on the West Coast. Is there some stupid scenario that he ends up like with the Angels? I mean, you start thinking about it, because he's from Bakersfield. He went to the St. Mary's. He's a West Coast guy. I guess that's what they say. And I don't know how much that like weighs into it, right? Because Aaron Judge was a West Coast guy, and he's in New York and he's doing fine. So I don't know how much that weighs into the decision for Corbin Burns. So we'll have to see where that goes. But money talks, bullshit walks, right? I mean, that's the old mantra. Let's see here. Rockin' New Era talking about favorite Giants. Yeah, I'd like to know what everybody's favorite Giant is today, though, because I understand that favorite Giant, haven't had one since Matt Cain. So Rockin' New Era. I mean, come on, man. Give me somebody. Like, do you not have a favorite Giant on this team? Because I mean, they're going through growing pains. Obviously, it goes to Logan Webb, right? I mean, That's a I wouldn't say an easy one, but I know a lot of people loved Jung-Hoo Lee for the 2.5 months that he had in the big leagues until he got hurt. A lot of people were gravitating towards Elliot Ramos, so you start getting a little bit more players. But I mean, damn, dude, when you start looking at the list, like I like Lamont Wade Jr., but I mean, he's not. I wouldn't say that he's my favorite. Like I like him; he's a great dude. But again, like I start looking at this roster and I start looking at guys that they have on the team. I mean, Ryan Walker, is he someone that people can gravitate towards? I mean, he's kind of like an underdog story, almost in a sense, because he just kind of came out of nowhere. To be honest, I remember I want to say, didn't he get called, or was that Camilo Doval got called up straight from Richmond and then just came up and started pitching in big league games? Man, I want to say it was Ryan Walker. I can't remember the trajectory. I don't remember Ryan Walker being in Sacramento for a long stint, at least. So yeah, no, I'd love to get everybody's thoughts on their favorite players and what you're thinking about the initial first impressions from Willy Adames today. See here, AJ Cruz, what's up? Early show, yeah, man. I'm doing it. Trying to get ahead of it. I'm trying to watch this 49er game. It's a big one. I know you guys are going to be watching it. My initial thought was for me to do it at 6:00, come in in the second quarter, see how the 49ers are doing. I was going to watch it with you guys and then maybe have a beer or whatnot, but I figured everybody else would be inebriated and would need to be focusing on the 49er game at that point. So I didn't want to mess up everybody's schedules. Just my own. Let's see. Oh shit. Matt Cain was my dude. Oh, okay. You're you're responding to when I said, yeah, Matt Cain was my guy, man. I got my Matt Cain ball over here. I have a picture that I took with Matt Cain. I was scared shitless, man. That was I think it was the first person that I met from KNBR, like because of KNBR. I think he was the first person that I met at they used to do the Dinner with the Legends dinner at KNBR a couple of years ago, and he was at one of them. It was him. I forget who it was. It was Matt Cain, Jeremy Affeldt, and I want to say there was a third one. Was it Chris Mullen? Forget if it was Chris Mullen. But I was losing my shit over Matt Cain, man. That's my dude. And it's crazy because I wouldn't say that I talk to him on a regular basis, but I've had interviews with him, and I'm just it's insane. It's insane. This job has done a lot for me. Currently, don't have one on the roster. Yeah, well, that's sad. Hopefully, Willy Adames can turn that around for you, man. Hopefully, Willy Adames can maybe be your new favorite since Matt Cain rocking. Victor, what's up, dude? I know you were talking to me earlier in the chat, or maybe it was yesterday, but you were asking. I'm glad to see you. Glad to see you here in the podcast, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate you stopping by. Adames seems to really enjoy himself. Great pickup. I agree. Let's see here. Walter says first impressions are everything to him, and now he doesn't show up when we get together. What do you mean, man? What do you mean? Come on. I'll show up. Tell me next time. Next time we'll go to Del Cielo. That was just a bad time for me. I couldn't make it. I think I know what you're referring to, but I'll show up, man. I'll be there. You guys got to hit me up. Didn't I, Tacky? I think I saw you at a Giants game once after the draft party. Didn't I see you out there? Can't remember. I want to say I did. Let's see. My thoughts were, it's too bad he hasn't used X since 2000. Bet you he can sing. I don't know what that's in reference to, Mike. What the hell was I talking about? Farhan had no soul. Yeah, I like that, Pat H. 100%. Oh, man. Amy Adams. What are you guys talking about? You guys are crazy. Eddie Lopez, what's up, man? Adames gives me Panda vibes. Yeah, 100%. He will also be great for some of our Latino players. Yeah, dude. I agree with that. Like his leadership, his mentorship, like for him and Elliot Ramos for sure. But you know, you even go back down to like what's going on with Luis Matos, right? And Marco Luciano. I mean, that might be huge also, just for him to be in there and kind of show them the ropes. That'd be pretty sick. Well, waiting for my car to be fixed. Might as well watch this. Yeah, dude, we got to go save Derek. He was having car troubles. It seems like he has car troubles every I wouldn't say every single day, but it sounds like he has more car troubles than the average human being. I'll say that. You don't have to show. Don't you have a show to be on? No, he doesn't. Yeah, Derek, why aren't you down at Levi's, bro? Why'd you turn down Papa's invite? Come on, what are you doing? Let's see here. Pat H went to Crochet's start at Oracle Park last year. Only went 4 innings because he was on an innings limit coming back from TJ. His stuff is the real deal, though. Yeah. No, 100%. He's really good. I don't think that prospect haul was over the top either. I mean, I think that the Red Sox are getting a solid pitcher, and you got to remember he's under control too. So that's also a huge deal. Let's see. Victor gives his thoughts. Yaz and Chappie. Okay, so those are your favorites. Mike Val, Fitzgerald. Mike, you remember when I was shitting on Fitzgerald during the Giants warm up? I will say this. Mike was calling for Tyler Fitzgerald to start at shortstop and to like hit leadoff, and I was just like, nah, he can't do it. I've seen enough of that guy. And then all of a sudden he starts hitting home runs. We haven't seen that since the likes of Barry Lamar. That's insane. Ramos must see at bat. I don't know if I'd go there, but he is fun. He is fun to see. 100%. Victor, gonna do blonde. All right, cool. What else we got going on here? Derek, time to hit up Dad for a new car. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good comment there. Derek, time to hit up Dad for a new car, bro. Yeah, for sure. Next time, Tacky, apparently I have car trouble every day. Well, it's damn near every day, Derek. Stop it. Every time I'm talking to you, you're like, oh, I got car troubles. Oh, the battery, I got to get a jump. I'm like, Jesus. You gotta remember to start your car every now and then, Derek. Come on, man. All right. Well, thank you all for stopping by. Appreciate you. Hey, Huey. I'm watching you. Thanks, Huey. You like my setup? What's up? That's Huey 1077 The Bone. That's it. Aren't you supposed to be doing something at the Niner game? Or are you not there? Are you not? I'm not exaggerating, Derek. Derek, I'm gonna send you a link. You should just come on here. You told me that. How about this? I asked Derek to come on. He was just like, "Oh, I'm busy. I have to go run errands and and get food." I do hope that you get your groceries. That I'm concerned for Derek. Everybody pray for Derek. He needs to go get some food. In my car in traffic. Hell yeah, Huey. All right, guys. Well, thank you all for stopping by. Victor, Derek, Huey, Tacky, Mike, Ebe. I still don't know how to say it. You guys got to put me up on some game, like phonetically spell it out in the chat. I don't know. I'm just gonna call Eb. I'm gonna say Eb. That's what I'm going with. Eb. Victor, Rockin. I think Rockin's still in here. Pat H. Thank you guys all for stopping by, man. I always appreciate you guys and spreading the word. But let's go ahead and get to Willy Adames press conference. Right, I got some video here. I will play it for you. This was the opening statements for Willy Adames and Buster Posey sitting down at the podium earlier this morning.
Thank you, Buster. I'm thrilled to be here. I'm really happy, so excited for this opportunity. Obviously, there's no words to describe my feeling right now, and to be here in this city, beautiful city. I'm just so happy to be here, happy to, go out there on the field and, give my 100% every day and, play for Bob. I mean, everybody talks so good about him. I'm so excited about that, and I just wanted to take the ownership and you, Buster, for making it happen, Zach. It's just, a dream come true for me, and like I said, I'm thrilled to be here, man. I'm so excited, and hopefully we can win a few championships like you did, and that's one of the main reasons I'm here, and I'm so excited, and thank you, everybody, for being here today.
Great. All right, let's get the jersey photos. You practically hold this corner up. A couple pictures.
Look at that, number 2. Hell yeah. Love it. Love to see that. Love to see that. Love to hear that. He just looks happy to be here, man. He looks happy to be here. Number 2. Is he the best number 2 to don it? He hasn't even played a game yet. Is he better than Randy Wynn already? I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing that out there. Love that. Love to see Willy Adames, and just to hear him say, like, hope that we can get championships like you did. That's huge. Like, he's coming here with a purpose. Not only for the money, obviously the money is huge, but you just love to see guys that want to be San Francisco Giants. You just didn't feel that with Michael Conforto. Like, he was just like, oh man, I got to go play somewhere. Like, let me go get this money. You didn't feel that with Mitch Haniger. You didn't feel that with Jorge Soler. You didn't feel that with Blake Snell. As much as I wanted to feel like he was a Giant, he wasn't. He was here for one reason and one reason only. The Giants were the only team to give him that dollar amount, and he used it as a stepping stone to go down to the Dodgers. So kick rocks. All right, let's go to more from the presser. A couple of takeaways. Again, how I mentioned that I feel that Willy Adames has the not temperament, but the mindset of Matt Chapman, because what did Matt Chapman go out there and do? He played every damn day that he was physically able to go out there and play. And Willy Adames did the same thing for the Brewers. I believe he played in 161 games of 162. So that's just what you get. And this is him talking about wanting to play every day and pretty much being a pain in the butt for his former coach, Pat Murphy.
Played in 161 last year. How important is it to play 162? Is that something that you kind of have on your radar?
Yeah, of course. I mean, obviously, I want to be out there every day. I want to play every day. That's something that I'm really hard-headed for, because, nowadays everybody is like, oh, you got to get a day off. And I'm like, I'm not here to take days off. So I had a hard time last year with Murphy, because, I was like, I'm not getting off the field. So I want to let Bob know that I'm going to be playing every day if he lets me.
Yeah, you just love to hear that, man. Someone that wants to be out there and play. Again, that he got paid handsomely, and you're not gonna say, oh, I'm gonna take days off. Like, of course you're not gonna say that. But the fact that he goes and proved it last year, played 161 of 162, and just says it straight up to his manager, saying, hey, Bob, I'm just letting you know I want to play every day. That's the mentality that you want to be a leader in the clubhouse. That's what you want to pair with Matt Chapman. And that's what you want. I mean, I forget who it was that brought it up earlier in the chat, but to be a role model, to be that type of guy for our Latin players, not even Latin players, just everybody on the team, just to show and lead by example. That is Eddie Lopez is who dropped that in there earlier today. But yeah, man, I mean, that's the mentality, that's the grit that you get from Willy Adames. So I love to hear that, and you just hear the hints of personality in that, right? I mean, he's making a joke, he's laughing. There was tons of those types of interactions, to where, for me, he instantly becomes one of my favorite guys on the team. And it was already a short list, but I feel like the heart and soul is starting to come back a little bit with Buster Posey at the helm, and with these guys that want to be Giants and are ball players, right? They're not out there for the paycheck. Obviously, the paycheck's going to come, and he's getting paid handsomely. But you just feel that there's a different sense around this signing than in years past, than with Michael Conforto and with Jorge Soler and Blake Snell and those types of guys. You just don't feel, you feel that it's genuine. You feel that he wants to be a San Francisco Giant, and he understands the importance of the Giants to this city and the legacy to wear that Giants across the chest. So here's one more thing from Willy Adames from the presser. and this was the huge thing, and this is what we're going to transition into with Corbin Burns. And he's showing his personality. He's showing that he can have fun with it. But this is when they asked him about Corbin Burns.
One of your former teammates in Milwaukee, Corbin Burns, is a lucrative free agent right now. Have you had any communication with him since joining the organization? What would be your pitch to join the organization?
I haven't talked to him, but I would definitely give him a call, after today. I mean, obviously, you always want a guy like him, and you're always going to have guys that are going to compete out there for you, and having a guy like that, it will be such an, amazing addition, but, that's something that is not in my hands, and, obviously there's a lot of work to do for that, but I will give him a call definitely later.
So my question is, and I saw this be posted, I believe I got this from the KNBR Twitter, so you can see all these clips from KNBR on Twitter, on X, but I saw that clip, and Susan tweeted it, put out a quote, and I was just like, all right, so did Buster hand him the phone like right after the podium and be like, hey dude, call your bestie, call your buddy Corbin, make him come over here, make him sign? You figure that has to maybe play a role. I don't know how big of a role it is, but one, they played together, they're teammates. I understand that part of it. But just the aesthetic of the Giants are willing to spend money on players that want to be San Francisco Giants, that have that winning mentality, that have that bulldog mentality. And specifically going to just looking at the pitchers, for me, Corbin Burns is Logan Webb. Like that's a perfect match made in heaven. So I would love to see that come to reality. But with the signing, that sent a signal across baseball, but also I would want to say Corbin Burns, because Corbin Burns and the Giants have been linked since the early parts of the offseason. Like since it became a possibility for free agents to sign, I've seen nothing but remarks of the Giants trying to get a starting pitcher to pair with Logan Webb, and that pitcher was Corbin Burns. We saw the Roki Sasaki's, and we saw Max Fried, but it was always number one priority, at least the way that I saw it, the way that I read it. It was always number one priority that Corbin Burns was the guy that the Giants wanted. So in that sense, when Willy Adames signed, I was like, oh, damn, maybe they're not going after Corbin Burns as hard as I thought they were, because we all knew that they wanted to address shortstop, but I think we all kind of conformed to the belief that it was going to be Hye-Sung Kim. And we were okay with it because of what we had in the past. Because I was just like, man, okay, Bob Melvin knows him. Do it, whatever, bring him over here. Better than what we have anywhere else in the farm system or anything that they had last year. Just do it. It's something. Something's better than nothing, right? That was the mentality that myself, and I think that a whole bunch of Giants fans had going into the offseason. Then when Willy Adames got signed, you were like, oh, damn, they're really going for it. So does that mean that they can get both? Can they get Willy Adames and Corbin Burns? Now, this next clip is from, I believe it's from Foul Territory. Can't remember exactly, or maybe it's just from MLB Network, but it's Ken Rosenthal. And Ken Rosenthal, he knows his stuff. He has his sources, and he's talking about Corbin Burns and where the market currently stands with the star pitcher. And this is what Ken Rosenthal had to say about the situation.
Heard in recent days is that he would prefer to return to the West Coast. He has a home in Arizona. He's from Bakersfield, California. He attended St. Mary's in the Bay Area. He's a West Coast guy. The Giants are the obvious fit here. It's all lining up for them. The question is, do they want to pay him? Are they willing to go to the length that is going to be necessary to get Corbin Burns under contract? The only other West Coast team I can see getting in on this would be, believe it or not, the Los Angeles Angels, because every once in a while, Artie Moreno, as the owner, does something that we don't expect. Now, I don't think this is going to happen there. And I don't know that Burns would want to go to the Angels, but there's no other West Coast team that is spending to that degree. The Dodgers have spent, they're not going to do it again for Corbin Burns, I wouldn't expect. So this is going to be really interesting because the question to me is, which club is going to pay? Will the Red Sox step up? Will the Orioles step up? Or will the Giants, the most logical destination, in my opinion, be the team for Corbin Burns?
So when you hear that, and this is hilarious, Tacky, I saw your comment while we were looking at that video. Nightingale says we're favorites for Burns, so he's going to Toronto. Yeah, dude, I saw that earlier, and I believe Jeff Young put it out there on X. That's where I first saw the tweet, and I commented back. I was like, dude, that's fucking kiss of death. Jesus Christ, really? Is that what we're doing? So yes, I 100% feel what you're putting down, Tacky. But yeah, what is the dollar amount? I mean, do you guys want the Giants to spend big on Corbin Burns? Or again, like yesterday on my pre-recorded, and we've talked about it previously on some of the lives, the Giants have the control, it seems like. And it seems like if they're willing to pay the money, which is probably estimated between 230 and 245, that's probably where you're looking at with Corbin Burns. It seems like if the Giants want to pay it, that he's coming. And I guess that's the question is, do the Giants want to pay it? And you start looking at the way that they've gone about it, and you know, Buster Posey has said in the past that they love Corbin Burns and that they're going to put efforts into getting Corbin Burns. But then you look at what he said over the winter meetings, and again, it could be tactical, it could be negotiations, but he says that they're content with their young pitching, that they believe in Hayden Birdsong, that they believe in Kyle Harrison to take steps forward, right? But also you can look at it in the way of, yeah, he's talking those guys up because when they do pull the trigger on Corbin Burns, then they can go ahead and flip those guys because they have a high value. I'm not saying that I want to trade Birdsong. I would much rather hold on to Birdsong than Kyle Harrison. I like Kyle Harrison and what he's doing, but I just don't know if that secondary pitch, if that off-speed pitch can come fast enough for Kyle Harrison to turn into a top of the rotation starter. So and we'll get into that conversation too, because there's also the rumors of Kyle Tucker. And I know Greg Papa was on the radio yesterday where we were talking about Kyle Tucker, and he was saying, I don't want to trade Kyle Harrison. I don't want to trade any of them. I'm like, well, bro, you got to trade something to get something. You're not gonna just give them, Keaton Wynn and expect Kyle Tucker. Keaton Wynn and Casey Schmidt. Murph was talking about Casey Schmidt this morning. I'm like, bro, Casey Schmidt, okay, but you have to give up something to get something. It's Kyle Tucker. And he's going to be wanting, and we already know that he's going to be testing free agency. So I don't even know if the Giants want to go down that route. I know that that's been a topic of conversation. I personally wouldn't, because it sounds like he's going to test free agency. He said that he wants to. So you're sending top prospects away, and the Astros want starting pitching and corner infielders that are starters currently at this moment. And I mean, when you start looking at the Giants, okay, Casey Schmidt is in the deal and Lamont Wade Jr. is in the deal, but you have to sweeten it. You have to sweeten the pot by doing Kyle Harrison and potentially Carson Wisenhunt. I mean, and is that a price worth paying? He's going into his walk year. The Astros have said we're fine with going into the season with Kyle Tucker and essentially with the walk year. They've done it before. They did it with Bregman. They did it with Correa. They aren't inclined to trade away any of these guys just because they're on a walk year. I totally understand that. I wouldn't do it. Just going back to the Corbin Burns conversation. I mean, would you guys be willing to pay? Would you be willing to pay that type of money? Obviously, it's not our money, so we don't give a damn. I'd be willing. I love spending millionaires' money. That's just because it ain't mine. But Tacky, yeah, pay the man, damn it. Yeah, get it done with. Get it done with. Get it over with. What just happened here? We just got to not rub Toronto the wrong way, and we're competing for the NL West. Yeah, the Giants need to do something in the starting pitching market. I just don't know necessarily what it is. It could be that they go and get Walker Buehler. I know that Mike Val sent me that earlier today. Buster Only saying that the Giants were in on Walker Buehler. So are the Giants already pivoting off of that, or again, are they just trying to kind of hedge their bets and understand that Corbin Burns isn't necessarily a lock, even though everyone is kind of saying that he is, that he's a West Coast guy, and that it's down to the Giants and the Blue Jays, and how can he not end up being a San Francisco Giant? Like, you start hearing all of that, and it starts to sound really good, but also at the end of the day, you have to think about the risk versus reward. And I don't know what the years are going to be for Corbin Burns. I mean, you saw the 8 years. Is that where the floor is for Corbin Burns now? Because 8 years to Max Fried, is he like, well, yeah, I want that deal. Like give me that. Or does he want more AAV and you start bringing down the years, but you up the money, right? So it's going to be really interesting to follow that dynamic. It'll be really, I mean, I hope that the Giants are able to bring in a pitcher. I just don't know what caliber of pitcher. I think that they need a top end starter like Corbin Burns, or if they're able to somehow swing a trade for some of these other guys. I mean, Framber Valdez has been thrown out there. We all heard the rumors of Luis Castillo with the Mariners, but they need bats. I don't know if the Giants necessarily have what it would take to swing that type of deal. Are you interested in Sonny Gray at all? I mean, there's that if you want to make trades and not pay a Sean Manaea or not pay a Walker Buehler. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the Giants follow up this move of Willy Adames, because there are a lot of holes that they need to fill. I mean, we've talked about it before. First base, wouldn't necessarily say it's a hole, but it's a spot that you would like to upgrade. You would like to get an upgrade in the outfield over Mike Yastrzemski. And I know Mike Yastrzemski is good with the glove, but with the bat, I mean, it's so. And I understand that if you get another position, if you get another player at another position, like at first base, then you can have the defensive wizardry of Mike Yastrzemski in right field. You can have that. But because of what they currently have at first base, and that's why I think maybe you do prioritize first base in the lineup side. Because Lamont Wade Jr., he gets on base. I understand that. And that's his game, but he's not playing to the position, and that's first base. And I hate to do that because I was a huge defender of Lamont Wade Jr. at the early points in the season prior to him getting injured, right? He's getting on base. He's setting the table, and that's what you need. And then these other guys weren't pulling through. Like Matt Chapman was doing the best that he could with all of his ability, but Jorge Soler wasn't able to generate anything. And, you know, you start going down the line of you have someone to set the table, but you don't necessarily have them to drive them in. Now, does that change because of Willy Adames? It's going to be really interesting. But again, when you start looking at the position production, first base, Lamont Wade Jr., he just doesn't do it for me. He does it if he was like a second baseman. Like he does what you would want your second baseman to do. He does what you would want a scrappy player in the outfield to do, is to get on base and be a table setter. That's not what a first baseman does. That and I hate it to put him in that box, but that's the reality of it. You want your first baseman to be out there, be a solid glove, drive in as many runs as possible, and have some thump, have some power. And that's why, Pete Alonso has been discussed, but he's linked to potentially going back with the Mets. But then you also hear Paul Goldschmidt. I don't know. I mean, I understand it. I understand it, but I don't know if that's necessarily something that I would do. But how does everybody else feel about Paul Goldschmidt? Would you be happy to bring in Paul Goldschmidt to first base for the Giants? So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see which direction this Giants team goes. But as it goes to trades, I want to end it on this conversation with the trades, because we talked about Kyle Tucker. We talked about some trades for pitchers that are currently, I wouldn't necessarily say on the table, but when you start looking at the assets that the Giants are, or the Giants have, because again, the prospects are assets and players that are on the trade block, if you will. It's Lamont Wade Jr. and it's Mike Yastrzemski. I mean, those are the guys that are that have a little bit of value that you can potentially trade, right? But of the prospects, or not even necessarily of the prospects, those are the guys on the position player side. But with Kyle Harrison, would you be willing to move on from Kyle Harrison? And I say that because he is so young. I thought that he was 24. He's actually 23. He doesn't turn 24 until August of next year. He's really young, and he can turn into something. And I don't know if the Giants are necessarily, I mean, I'm not going to say I don't know. I know the Giants aren't in a window for competing for a World Series. So in that aspect, because we talk about it all the time with like the Warriors and Kuminga and Pajemski and all of that on KNBR, when you start looking at outweighing the win now mentality, or not hope and pray, but groom your prospects into being that core for your team in the future and for years to come. Now the Giants are in a different scenario than, say, the Warriors, because the Warriors have the best player on the planet in Steph Curry. You understand that once he's gone, it's gonna go back to 100 point taco night. I'm not saying it's gonna go back to being that bad, but I mean it could. Steph Curry, we've been so spoiled with the play of the Warriors, but they're trying to do like the two timeline thing. But when you look at the Giants, you're not necessarily doing that because you're trying to compete. You're trying to get into the postseason. But again, this team isn't a team that's going to compete for a World Series. I know that's the thought, that's the hope every single year, but you got to be realistic. You got to be realistic. And especially if they don't go get a Corbin Burns, I don't see that happening. So again, now the question is, would you be willing to part with a Kyle Harrison if it was going to net you some type of bat? And I'm not only saying, just Kyle Tucker, but some type of bat. If there was some type of trade that would require you to get rid of your prospects, which is Kyle Harrison, you can lump in Hayden Birdsong, you can lump in Marco Luciano, which we don't know like where he's going to play. That's a whole nother thing. I mean, shit, did they move him to first base? I don't know. I know that they were putting him in the corner outfields at the Arizona complex during the winter. So we'll have to see how that all comes out. But of these prospects, like who's untouchable? And let's just say you could get a Kyle Tucker. Let's just say you can get that type of move, that type of game-changing bat. Would you be willing to part with Bryce Eldridge? Or is he untouchable? I guess my point is, who would you be willing to part with currently on this team, on this roster, in this organization? Is there anyone that is absolutely no-go? You cannot trade them? Because I would not want to trade Bryce Eldridge, but if you can net you a bat that's controllable, and it's not necessarily Kyle Tucker because he's going to go into free agency. But if it can net you a bat that's controllable, is that worth it? To include some of those guys. But I mean, Bryce Eldridge, he's controllable. So why would you trade him? I do not like the thought process for this specific team, for the Giants, to go out there and trade hitting for pitching or trade hitting in any capacity. Because Bryce Eldridge is someone that is controllable for many years. So again, like he would be untouchable to me. But when I look to Hayden Birdsong, again, I prioritize Hayden Birdsong more than I do Kyle Harrison. I believe in Hayden Birdsong more than I do in Kyle Harrison. I think that Hayden is a better rounded pitcher currently at this moment, but the ceiling is higher for Kyle Harrison. I just don't know how high he'd be able to reach. So that's a conversation that we'll definitely get into in coming weeks. We'll talk some more trades and we'll just keep up on the rumor mill because the winter meetings are done, but the hot stove is starting to crank up a little bit. So we'll have to keep an eye on everything that's going down. We'll have to see what Corbin Burnes ends up doing. I hope that it happens at some point. We just got past the Willy Adames signing. We had the introductory press conference today. So maybe Scott Boras isn't busy tomorrow because he already did the introductory for Juan Soto. Not busy tomorrow, so maybe something could go down tomorrow. Maybe they're going to have another Zoom call. Hopefully that is what is on the horizon for the San Francisco Giants. But you guys, I'm going to get out of here. Mike Val, really quick before I get out of here, Mike Val says Eldridge, Birdsong are the only untouchables. Yeah, I would say that that's pretty accurate. I would say that that's pretty accurate, 100%. For sure. Victor left. Oh, dude, appreciate Victor for stopping by. Take care. Great podcast, dude. Victor, appreciate you as always, man. Really appreciate you. Rockin' New Era, I think, dumped out of here as well. We got to get ready for that football game. 49ers and the Rams. I'm going to go get some wings probably. I'm going to get some wings going. But you guys, hope you all enjoyed the podcast today. Tomorrow, I'm going to do it a little bit early as well. I might do it at 2:00. I will keep you guys posted. Just follow me on X again at Walleezy. That is WALLEEZZY. WALLEEZZY. I had to spell it again because I don't know if I spelled it right the first time. Definitely spelled it right the second time. Walleezy on X. And again, give me a like, give me a subscribe to the channel, and remember to always set your notifications because again, tomorrow we will do a little earlier. I don't know what time yet, but we will do an earlier show tomorrow to get the weekend started, and hopefully we can get some news, get some more rumors on Corbin Burnes to the San Francisco Giants. It sounds like the only people in the way of the Giants, the only thing in the way of the Giants are the Giants. So you guys have a good one. Enjoy Thursday Night Football. Go Niners, and I will talk to you tomorrow.